Welcome to Black Shell Sports Talk. It's your boy Goody Good. And we're here at the lunch break archives. You feel me? I'm on break, so I'm going to talk my talk. You feel me? Let me take this badge off right quick. You know what I mean? Let's get to it, man. You know what it is. Pledge allegiance to the nation. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're rocking with me. If not, you can walk the plank and go straight down to Davy Jones' locker, man. Now, let's get it. Today I want to talk about the most important position in football. And since we're in a position where we need that position, let's talk about it. Quarterback. Aaron Rodgers. I don't want Aaron Rodgers if it's going to cost us a first-round pick. I don't want Aaron Rodgers if it's going to cost us a second-round pick. I'm only taking Aaron Rodgers if it's a bunch of mid-round picks. That's the only way I'm trading for Aaron Rodgers. He's 40 years old when the season starts. He's been trying to retire the last 2 years, or speculation that he wanted to retire the last 2 years. That's why him and Devontae split the first time. His play went down last year. That could be because he had a bunch of rookie wide receivers. So I don't hold him to that performance last year. He has the highest quarterback rating in history for any quarterback. He's Aaron Rodgers. But giving up a first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers would be terrible. It'll be terrible because the league is changing, man. The league is more catered towards the college game, a bunch of RPOs, mobile quarterbacks. You know, that's why you got quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts ripping the league apart. Quarterbacks like Josh Allen ripping the league apart. Lamar Jackson getting the MVP just a few years ago. The league is catered to these new quarterbacks. And it's more about you being super athletic and being able to make plays with your legs. And if you look at the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now, they're all youngsters. Whether you want to say it's Josh Allen, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, some people put Herbert up there. I'm kind of, I don't know about that. Some people put Jalen Hurts up there already. I think he has to do a little bit more, but most of the top 5 quarterbacks are all youngsters. They're not none of these veterans that are potentially Hall of Famers. Like Aaron Rodgers is not a top 5 quarterback right now. Okay. So to give up a first rounder for him, I think that's a little bit too much for us. It feels like it would be a panic move to trade a first round draft pick and to try to win right now. I wouldn't do it because you're going to have to pay him a bunch of money. It would take up a lot of our cap space that we could use to fill the holes on the defense and fill the holes on the offensive line. What the Raiders should do with the quarterback position is this. Option A is to stick with Steedham, give him like a 3-year, $30 million deal where he gets paid like $10 million a year to get a chance to start. And if he doesn't start, he'll be a high-priced backup, okay? Give him like a 2-year deal with a third-year option, for team option, $10 million per. And then use the rest of that money and cap space to build a defense and use the rest of the draft all the way through. We got like 11 picks. Use all of that to build this defense. Trade up and go get a Jalen Carter or just do whatever. Use all the picks on defense. Build a bully on the defensive side of the ball. Give Jarrett Steedham a chance to start for a year. And if we don't win, then we should be in position to pick a quarterback next year where it's a deeper quarterback class and some say is a better quarterback class. Okay, that's option A. Option B, which is the one that I rather do, is you trade up to the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Okay? You trade to the number 3 pick overall in the draft with the Cardinals. You don't try to trade up to 1. The trade up to 1 is going to be too much draft capital. Okay? But if we trade up to 3, which I think the Cardinals would want to trade out of the number 3 position for the right price, we will be guaranteed to get one of the top 3 players in the draft, whether that be Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and if 2 quarterbacks are picked back-to-back, we could go and get Jalen Carter. And then pick a quarterback in the later rounds. Okay? I think at 3, though, CJ Stroud is going to drop to 3. Everybody is counting on the Texans to pick a quarterback at 2. And I'm here to tell you, with DeMeco Ryans as the head coach, he's about defense. He came from the Niners coaching tree with Kyle Shanahan and under John Lynch, and he saw how to build a franchise. The 49ers picked 4 or 5 straight defensive linemen in the first round. Whether it was DeForest Buckner, whether it was Eric Armstead, Bosa, okay? They picked back-to-back defensive linemen. They worked on those trenches. So I think the Texans, knowing that they have the number 2 pick in the draft and the number 12 pick in the draft, they're not going to pick a quarterback at 2. I think that the Colts believe the Texans are going to pick a quarterback at 2, and therefore they're going to leapfrog them, being in the same division, and trade up to the number 1 spot, and they're going to have their pick a quarterback, whichever they want. I believe their quarterback is either going to be Bryce Young or Will Levis. The reason why is coming from the OC, coming from the Eagles, being the Indianapolis Colts coach. I think that he wants a mobile quarterback so he can run a similar offense that he did with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. That's what Bryce Young is. I think he could do everything that Jalen Hurts could do, except he's a better passer. So with that said, if I want to go through the top 10 picks right quick, top 10, 12 picks, I think that the Colts will trade up to the number 1 spot. They'll pick Bryce Young. At 2, the Texans will pick Jalen Carter. They'll pick the best player on the board. Because they have the number 12 pick in the draft, I believe they'll try to trade back up into the draft to try to get a Will Levis or a Anthony Richardson, or they would just let Anthony Richardson drop to them at 12 if he's available. So the number 3 pick in the draft, I think you will be able to get the second quarterback off the board. It won't cost as much to trade to the number 3 pick as it will to the number 1 pick. So I believe that the Raiders need to talk to the Cardinals and try to get up to the number 3 pick, where I believe CJ Stroud will still be on the board at 3. You pick CJ Stroud. He fits the system. He's the prototypical size for a quarterback. He's the most accurate quarterback in the draft. He has a good arm. It's not the best arm, but he has a lot of ball control. Okay? He could play in any type of weather. He could play. I believe he could adapt to McDaniel's system. And I think he was the best quarterback out of him, Levis, and Anthony Richardson. Will Levis has one of the strongest arms in the draft, him and Anthony Richardson. Will Levis is more accurate than Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is way more athletic. I don't believe Anthony Richardson is worth a first-round pick, but I believe that his athleticism is going to make somebody reach for him in the first round. They're not going to be able to pass up somebody that's 6'4", 240 pounds, and is rumored to be able to run a 4.39, 4.38. Okay? People aren't going to be able to want to pass up on that. He could be the second coming of Cam Newton. What worries me about Anthony Richardson is he's not very accurate. Now, that could be because he didn't have any wide receivers in Florida. But out of 2 years, only completing about 53% of his passes in college, that's pretty bad because, you know, the game speed in the NFL is much different. And you can't win with a quarterback only completing 53% of his passes. And that's why, if I'm the Raiders, I'm staying far away from Anthony Richardson. I wouldn't be irate if they picked Anthony Richardson if we had a bridge quarterback that he could sit behind with a clipboard for 2 years. Because that's what I think is going to take for Richardson. It's going to take him 1.5 years, 2 years before he could get on an NFL field. I don't believe he's ready to get up and start on any team right now. But he could prove me wrong. So then, at 4, the Chicago Bears, after trading with the Indianapolis Colts, they've already received a boatload of picks for trading down to the 4 spot. The Raiders just took C.J. Stroud at 3. You still have Levis and Anthony Richardson at the board. This is where I believe Chicago pulls off another trade, and they go from 4 to 9 and trade with the Carolina Panthers. Okay? The Carolina Panthers at 4 take their quarterback, which I believe will be Will Levis. I think Will Levis is just more ready to start. He is a Josh Allen type of quarterback, very big build, could run, huge arm. He's just not very accurate, but I believe you could build a system around him. Carolina Panthers pick Will Levis at 4. At 5, you got the Seattle Seahawks. I think they take the best defensive player on the board, which will be Anderson at this point. At 6, you got the Detroit Lions. They need a corner badly. They need help in their secondary. I think this is where Devon Witherspoon will go at 6. At 7, you now have the Cardinals picking. And the Cardinals could go a bunch of different ways. They just got a lot of draft picks from the Raiders to move up to 3. They moved down to 7. Kyler Murray just got hurt. So they could go offensive line. They do have a defensive-minded coach, though. And that's why I believe this is where Tyree Wilson will go at 7 to the Arizona Cardinals. They just lost J.J. Watt. They lost Chandler Jones. They need somebody coming off of that edge. This is where I believe Tyree Wilson goes to the Cardinals at 7. At 8, you got the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons could go a numerous amount of ways. This is where Anthony Richardson could possibly go when they reach. But I don't think they're going to go that route. I think after losing Calvin Ridley, losing Julio Jones, they did pick up Drake last year. I think they pair him with another Twin Tower wide receiver and pair him with Quentin Johnston. Now they have 2 huge wide receivers on the ends. I think that's a good look for the Atlanta Falcons to start with. All right, let me turn this light back on, y'all. My bad. Yeah. So, yeah, the Falcons at 8 take a wide receiver, first wide receiver out the bar. Hey, man. My light keep on coming off. Now, at 9, you now have the Chicago Bears. They need help trying to put something around Fields. They need a tackle. I think this is where Paris Johnson Jr. goes. Good fit for the Chicago Bears and their mobile quarterback. So that's where I believe he goes. At 10, you got the Eagles. This is a luxury pick for the Eagles. They're at 10. But they're going to lose Hargrave. And this is where I believe a defensive tackle will go again. It could be Brian Brzee. I think it's going to be Kalijah Kancey here at the 10 spot. At 11, you got the Tennessee Titans. They need offensive line help. I think this is where another tackle goes in Peter Skronsky. And with the 12 spot, you have the Texans, where they get a mobile quarterback, a clone of Trey Lance, and Anthony Richardson. This is where I think Anthony Richardson goes at 12. The Texans get Jalen Carter and Anthony Richardson. That's a good look for DeMeco Ryans to start his head coaching career with the Texans. So that's how I see the first 12 picks going. I will do a full mock draft for the Raiders soon. But like I said, our best bet, in my opinion, is to either let Stiddy start for a year and build the defense, or just trade up and get the guy that you want. And I believe the guy they should want is C.J. Stroud. He has the prototypical size, the accuracy, and I believe he fits McDaniel's system the most. Now, a lot of people will say Bryce Young is a slightly better quarterback. I'm afraid of his size. He's barely 6 foot. He's more like 5'11", 190 pounds soaking wet. And he's a quarterback that can't quite see over the offensive line, so he's always running outside of the pocket. McDaniels likes pocket passers, and that's the reason why I believe we go the route of C.J. Stroud if we trade up to get one. If not, I believe we try to stay where we're at, and hopefully Will Levis will drop to us at 7. I'm not the biggest Will Levis fan. I think that he makes bad decisions. He did not have a lot of offensive talent around him. And I wouldn't be mad if we picked him. I'm just not going to be jumping for joy. But it wouldn't be a bad pick to get a quarterback at 7, knowing how much teams have to give up to trade up to get a quarterback. If one of these top 3 quarterbacks drop to us at 7, I'm willing to take that chance on it. I still am not confident in taking that chance on an Anthony Richardson. Now, this guy could be the biggest superstar in this draft. He has that type of potential, but he scares me with his accuracy. So we'll see if he can show some accuracy during the combine. A lot of people say he has the best pocket presence. I don't know if that's true from my estimation, but we'll see. But that's how I feel about our quarterback situation, guys. If you guys feel something different, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll holler at y'all. Lunch Archives, out.